The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Hi, I really wanted to make just a direct appeal to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the future of the Democratic Party, according to Tom Perez, head of the DNC. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, I'm really excited that you've been elevated to that position, and I would love to have a real conversation with you about the issues. You've noted you think Republicans are afraid to debate you or talk to you or discuss the issues with you. Not only am I eager to discuss the issues with you, I'm willing to offer $10,000 to your campaign today for you to come on our Sunday special, and we can have an hour-long conversation about all the topics under the sun, really probe your belief system. And frankly, if you want to raise charity and we'll do it as a debate, we can do that too. However you want to do it, I am more than willing to talk to you. I would love to have this conversation. So let's make this happen. Let's make America a more civil and interesting place. Let's do this thing.
No, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro really thinks he's a great debater. I guess because he bested Cenk Uygur, who honestly looked like he didn't care to even try to debate that day. But Ben Shapiro, this is the thing that the right does. They give the veneer of intellectualism. In reality, Ben, you're not a great debater. You're just not. I mean, your arguments are so easily dissected and proven wrong. I mean, not just from factual basis in terms of you're forwarding information that's just flat out wrong, but just logically, you fall apart. You don't really debate well. I mean, I guess, you know what, to be fair, in a sea of, I don't know, let's just call them conservatives, maybe Ben Shapiro stands out as a smart person. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of William F. Buckley, who was lauded in his day as a great conservative thinker. And I guess comparatively speaking, he was, when you compared him to, I don't know, Bull Connor, when you compared him to the Klansmen, when you compared him to people who had the same ideological beliefs, but had the intellectual capacity of a sloth, then sure, William F. Buckley was a great thinker. But when you compared William F. Buckley to James Baldwin, and you heard them side by side, and you saw firsthand how bereft of any substance William F. Buckley really was, because their ideas do not hold up to scrutiny. Same thing with Barry Goldwater. Like, I read his, everybody's read his book, Conscious Conservative. And, he's making these arguments and he's presenting them in a very intellectual fashion, but they just don't hold up to any type of scrutiny. But in a sea of conservatives who range from police officers sicking dogs on black people in the 60s to Klansmen burning crosses, I guess William F. Buckley and Barry Goldwater are considered to be intellectuals. I mean, there are a couple of more, but the point is this. Conservative intellectualism is a performative phenomenon. It's not really a thing. It's how they present themselves that gives them the veneer of intellectualism, and they get graded on a curve because, comparatively speaking, yes, Ben Shapiro is a great debater and an intellectual compared to Steven Crowder, compared to Mike Probasiak or whatever his name is, compared to, just think about the people on the right that he's comparing himself to that are part of his cohort. From that perspective, then yes. Even looking at the president of the United States, Ben Shapiro is a brilliant lad compared to all of his contemporaries on the conservative side of the equation. But much like William F. Buckley learned when he decided to challenge or accept the challenge to debate James Baldwin over whether or not the American dream came at the expense of the American Negro, you see firsthand how bereft of any substance these thinkers, so-called thinkers, actually are. They get bonus points for presentation and coherently stringing together a complete sentence and getting in a couple of zingers and, getting the audience applause. That's really what they're graded on. Like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is considered to be this great conservative intellectual. In reality, you actually dig into what he actually believes, and you drill down and you realize this guy hasn't even thought the most basic arguments through. And furthermore, let's go one step further with this. Ocasio-Cortez has nothing whatsoever to prove to anyone. Here's the thing. I did an entire clip on this, and it was for patrons only. And I meant to put it out for everyone, but I didn't. But there is a level of expectation for this congressional candidate. I believe it was the 2nd District in New York. This congressional candidate to have more knowledge about the world, about foreign policy, more knowledge about domestic politics, more knowledge about economic policies, and not just economic policies, but the philosophical underpinnings thereof. She's expected to know all of these things as a congressional candidate. And we have a standard in the White House right now. We have a president in the White House right now who gets bonus points if he can string together a coherent sentence without pooping his pants. See, this is a part of the asymmetrical political warfare that we're engaged in that I always talk about, where the expectations and the standard in any category, whether it be the standard in knowledge, is far greater on the left than it is on the right. The right simply gets bonus points for putting on a suit and a tie, whereas we have this high bar for even for entry from the left. Right, we don't even let people get past the barrier of entry if they are not steeped in knowledge and experience in terms of political philosophy, in terms of political or history. I mean, the standard is high on the left, whereas the standard on the right is can you get on camera and not make a fool of yourself? This is the asymmetrical political war in terms of intelligence, in terms of civility. We literally have Nazis running on the right, winning primaries, whose standard is the purge of the nation of all people who aren't white and part of the Aryan nation. Whereas we on the left, if we cuss somebody out, well, then we're not being civil enough. That's the asymmetrical fight that we are always engaged in every way imaginable in terms of bipartisanship. In terms of bipartisanship, Republicans have played a hard line stance for the last 40 years, not giving a single inch, betraying the country, betraying their own political philosophy, betraying their own ideas in order to score cheap political points, sacrificing any notion of bipartisanship. And yet on the left, if we don't triangulate every step of the way, then we're considered to be unreasonable. Such is the same with this request, not even just a request, but this standard that people are placing on Ocasio-Cortez to know more than we expect the president of the United States to know. No, absolutely not. So Ocasio-Cortez should not debate this clown, Ben Shapiro. One, because you haven't even gone through the different levels, right? You haven't even gotten to the boss level, right? You think because you had this one good encounter with Cenk Uygur, who honestly in that was it Politicon, whatever that was, Cenk didn't even show up. Right? That wasn't even a debate. I mean, Ben Shapiro has not. There's so many people that Ben Shapiro would get devastated by. That why you know what it is. You know what it is. It is this. And actually, Imani Gandhi, she said it on Twitter. And I actually just want to go and look at and repeat what she said because she puts it into a very good context. She said, this is some shit that happens to women, particularly women of color, all of the time. We are supposed to prove ourselves to white dudes who aren't even in the same universe as us. Who does Ben Shapiro even think he is? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez owes him exactly two things, Jack and shit. And I agree. That's it. Ocasio-Cortez has done more than Ben Shapiro could ever imagine. Just with this election, ousting this 10-term incumbent on her first run. I mean, literally putting in the footwork to get all of those signatures that she needed to get on the ballot. And then to convince all the people of the Bronx that she was their woman. She did all the work. And she's done something that Ben Shapiro. So now Ben Shapiro thinks that he could just simply sit back and say, oh, I'm going to give you $10,000. She doesn't need your money. But more importantly, while you may have conservative intellectual bona fides, in reality, you really overestimate yourself. And you really should try your hand at debating actual... I'm sorry. I can't help but laugh because it's true, man. Ben Shapiro, you're not you're not the debater that you think you are. You're not the intellectual that you think you are. But comparatively speaking, compared to Steven Crowder, compared to Charlie Kirk, I mean, compared to your contemporaries on the conservative aisle of the equation, I guess you are the William F. Buckley of the day. I guess for conservatives, intellectualism is relative. Go to patreon.com/the BPD show for more.